There are trips you plan for months, carefully mapping out each stop, each meal, each point of interest. And then there are journeys that seem to have a will of their own, shaping your memories in the most unexpected ways. Our foray into Spiti was very much the latter. From the get go, we had two modes of transport: a sturdy car for the bulk of our baggage, and a single motorbike for anyone craving a more visceral encounter with the wind and the wild. Sometimes we'd switch rides mid route, swapping stories of how the landscape looked from the saddle versus the passenger seat. It was never about convenience, it was about experiencing everything these mountains had to offer. Spontaneity was our constant companion. We might spend one afternoon diving into piles of momos at a roadside dhaba, trading photos and laughter. The next day, we'd veer off the main road to follow rumor and recommendation. You must see that hidden viewpoint or stop by this little village. They have the best local butter tea. In these winding valleys, culinary delights and new friendships seem to bloom at every turn. Chandratal Lake, a place where the mountains reflect so sharply in the water you question which side is real. We spent one magical night by its shores, lulled to sleep by the hush of the alpine breeze. The morning sun lit the peaks in gold, reminding us that there's something untamed here, a reminder that you're in the domain of giants. Of course, not every highlight was about nature. In Langza, beneath the silent gaze of a massive Buddha statue, I found myself in a random predicament. I needed my hair cut. Imagine a high altitude barber shop, no fancy chairs, a sink, and an occasional whiff of incense. If I close my eyes, I can still feel that absurd, joyful moment. Watch the sunlight dance on ancient fossils while losing a few inches of hair. Speaking of fossils, Langza is famous for them: ages old seashells and marine fragments hidden in the stone. Running your fingers over these ancient infants, you realize that this land, now towering thousands of meters into the sky, was once an ocean floor. It's humbling, the sense of time that dwarfs our own presence. Then there were the roads themselves, always ready to remind us who's really in charge. Monsoon rains would transform gentle streams into roaring torrents, drenching stretches of asphalt in waterfalls. More than once we had to hop out, hearts pounding as our driver inched the car through rushing water. Was it nerve wracking? Absolutely. But it was also the kind of thrill that leaves your veins buzzing with adrenaline long after you're safely across. The villages perched high in these mountains each had their own flavor. In Hikim, the world's highest post office gave us a chance to mail postcards with stories of roads, rivers, and haircuts in the Himalayas. Though, in a twist of fate, they never arrived. Comic gave us some of the tastiest momos and the warmest local interactions, where time moved as slowly as the altitude demanded. The air was thin, but the sense of community was thick. And while we ended up retracing our route back to Manali, covering only half of the legendary Spiti circuit, there was a magical sameness in the repetition, the ever shifting light, the ever present possibility of a rockfall or a fresh waterfall ensured every mile felt new. We were never bored. In a place where the horizon line seemed to constantly redraw itself, each return glance reveals details you missed the first time around. Travel can sometimes be measured in distance, how many kilometers you cover or how many destinations you check off a list. But our measure was in the intangible moments: impromptu haircuts, fossil hunts, near daring road crossings, and the humbling serenity of starlit nights. by an alpine lake. Those are the memories that stay long after you've left the mountains behind. Thank you for joining us on this kaleidoscopic slice of Spiti, a journey that taught us that sometimes the best memories aren't linear at all, but woven together by spontaneity, curiosity, and the ever changing rhythm of the road.